Hey, so welcome to Lead Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm the founder of Presentation Powerhouse Missing Link. And each week I try to tackle a burning question that is something to do with showing up and presenting better, but sometimes maybe about entrepreneurship. Now, today's idea is near and dear to my heart. I think it is equally relevant to entrepreneurs, to business people, to thinkers, to innovators, and certainly to presenters. In fact, one of the first things I teach in a Story to Stage program, and much of this content is borrowed from our Story to Stage program for public speakers, is on how to trap and keep all the ideas you have in your head so that when you're writing that great talk or building that business plan, all the ideas you had about it come back. And that's what we want to talk about in this video. Now, the first thing we need to understand here is that I think we got ideas all wrong. I think we have this crazy concept about what ideas and how they act. If I ask you to come up with an image right now, I say, I've had an idea what image we should put up here. I guarantee you that the image that you think we should put up here is this one, because we have this obsession that this is how ideas work, that there's just these light bulb moments. So 1 minute, boom, the lights are out. The next minute you have this idea and everything comes on and you're feeling great about yourself. And that's amazing. But that's not the case. And it doesn't work that way. First of all, because they don't just come on and stay on, right? And second of all, there's like so many of them and they're all over the place. And we need to understand this. One might even say we have a plethora of ideas, but we need a better system for this. And in order to create a better system of this, we need to get rid of this romantic notion. They're like this thing that comes on and stays there, like a eureka moment that once you understand it, it's yours forever. At least that's not how it works for me. I can't tell you how many times I've been riding up the West Coast Road here on my motorcycle coming home, got all of these ideas like, oh, I must remember this thing. And then like some guy cuts me off. I'm like, hey, I'm walking here. And then we're like shouting at each other and everything. And then I get home and I've totally forgotten the idea. I know that I had an idea. I just can't remember where I left it. Probably in the street back there where I was shouting at that guy. No, that's not how ideas are. That's definitely not the right icon for ideas. If there was a better one, I would think it's not going to take off. But if there was a better one, it would be this, the hummingbird. I remember I was in San Francisco and we saw this hummingbird appear and we're all like, what? And like everyone's grabbing from their cameras and stuff, trying to get this ready and trying to see the hummingbird. But no sooner do you like get the camera ready, it sits there flirting with you. And then you get your camera ready, it's like ninja bomb. And it's gone and it disappears and amazing. And you're like, oh man, and the idea is gone. And this is what I think about ideas is it's not about having them. Having them is so overrated. We all have great ideas, right? It's not about that. Your job is not to create ideas. It is to curate them for future you. That's what we need to have. And that's what I want to talk about today. You see, what we have to do is trap ideas. We've got to come up with a system of trapping those ideas or creating idea traps, but not like this one, because we want to smother the ideas like this one. You see, how I want you to start thinking of yourself every time you have an idea, I want you to understand that the idea is not for you, right? It's not you who's going to use it. What you are doing is you are curating a gallery of great ideas for future you. And you've got to make sure that one day when the future version of you is preparing for that big presentation, is writing that book, is drawing up that business plan, that the right ideas, the right gallery of ideas shows up for them. That's what we have to do. We have to curate ideas. And this concept of creating idea traps does just that. I remember when I first started really obsessing with this. I was chatting to my old business partner, Don Packett. He was a stand-up comedian. And he has lots of ideas. And I always thought it was quite funny that stand-up comedians, they see the same things we see, but they just see what's funny in them. And I asked him about it. And he said, well, you know what I do? Like every morning when I get up, because this is a guy who has lots of ideas. He says, every morning when I get up, I take a little notebook and I put this notebook in my pocket. And this notebook is my comedy notebook. It is his comedy idea trap. So he every day packs a trap specifically for funny shit he sees. And he puts it in his pocket. And then we're all sitting about and we all see the same thing. And then I see Don pull out his notebook and start writing because he saw something funny in this situation. Why? Because he was carrying a trap that has gravity for funny things. If you have a presentation coming up, I cannot tell you, you could take a piece of paper, you could fold it, write the name of the presentation and put it in your pocket. And just having that folded piece of paper and a little pen sitting there, always a pen, ready to go is great. The problem is that's fantastic if you know what you're trapping the ideas from. I mean, I was so obsessed with this idea that I set myself and a bunch of our mates, we actually created a notebook for ideas called The Writable by Human Rights. And it was like this whole cool charity initiative. And in fact, so inspired were we by Don Packett with 2 T's, that we created a pocket version of the notebook for him, the Don Packett Pocket Writable. And I used this for ages to trap my ideas. In fact, you can see here, this is ideas for this very YouTube channel. The one you can see at the bottom there, read your slides. I'll actually link to that video so you can see the video that came out of this idea trap. The problem is, this was fine for a while, but I had so many ideas and they didn't stop and they weren't going anywhere and they weren't nice and ordered like this. This isn't how ideas work. They're like this. And there's this whole big thing, a mess of concepts that I could never find. And I think it was Conrad Gessner who famously said, I hate it when I can't find my shit. And that's how I felt. Now, this dude here, he wanted to do something about it. So he invented this concept for ideas he had called Zettelkasten, which means slip boxes. And you probably remember, well, depends if you're my age, you remember from school, these little notebook books, boxes and things, and they would have index cards in them. And this index card would be linked to this index card here and linked to this index card here. And they never looked neat like this. They always looked like crazy like this. And that's Zettelkasten. But now, that has to be the way we do it, but little note cards aren't going to work. Luckily, though, there are systems available that we can use. Now, I think the world is obsessed with augmented reality and artificial intelligence, but I think what we should be thinking about is augmented intelligence, right? This concept, how can I augment my own intelligence and make it better? You know what you can do? You can invent me a trap for my ideas. And luckily, a guy called Connor White Sullivan did just that. He invented a platform called Rome Research. And it's a place, a notebook for networked thought, for the network of ideas that you can see here that you might have. Now, Rome is a crazy tool. I want to give you a little bit of a demo now. I'm going to share my screen for you for a second.
Okay, so let's jump straight into Rome. I start off every day for me as I just kind of work from my daily note. That's the best thing about it, is I don't put anything, I don't have to file anything. I just start writing where I want to write. So today I created a to-do list here that I can obviously toggle to say to do this. Now maybe I want to find the content where I prepped on this thing. So I know it was there we go, tagged with augmented intelligence. So I can click on that, just do a bit of a search, find that there we go, here we go. That's the video that we want to talk about. Fantastic. So let's go straight into here. And then there we have the content. Now we're going through this content. Here's the content and stuff that we worked on. I want to chat a bit about Rome. So here's some Rome information, some demo searches that I've wanted to do for you. So if I was doing a talk on leadership, I might come in there and just click on this, and then I find all the content that I've tagged at some point for future me to find around leadership. So a talk by a fantastic client of ours, so this note, a note from a book that I'd read by Tolstoy, a talk by Liz Wiseman and by Ite Talgum, as well as like a tweet by a friend. So all of this content could be great for me in a future talk on leadership. However, sometimes I'm not sure. It's just generic content. I'm not sure where it'll fit. So kind of random ideas I just tag with talk fodder. Here's an idea about a snowplow expert that was hired for a fortune in Heathrow. This is the guy who shared the story with me. Here's areas where it could be relevant, like if I'm doing a talk in Winnipeg again, or if I'm talking about airports, or if I want to talk about how to amplify your authority and have a niche. In fact, that might be a good one there. So I might want to add in niche. Okay, you can see I've got a tag there. I'm just going to tag it. So now that will include with other concepts around niche. And I've got other ideas here that are kind of random that are tagged in different ways that future me will be able to find. Then I have, concepts I might be just like if I know what I want to use it for, but I don't have it yet, general ideas like ideas for these videos. So I can come through here, and here you'll see linked references. So on these days, I had these ideas for different videos that I wanted to do. I want to do one on paste.app. So I will just put that there. And then later on, I may decide to add to that content. You can go through the drop downs and see it. And of course, once these are done, they'll be checked off and away you go. So that's a great way to use Rome just to try and find content. And it's so easy because you just start everything with your daily notes. Now, Rome is easy, but it's slightly geeky, and it's a bit like Excel in that it's easy at the beginning but hard to master. There's a new kid on the block called MEM, M-E-M. And what MEM does is it kind of just makes it, you can see it's a prettier interface. Just straight away integrates with your diaries. You can see that I'm supposed to be doing some work for Old Mutual now, and it kind of goes through different things. And I can do a number of things. So I've got some every morning it generates a list for me down here where I work that I've got to work on first thing. I can put some learnings throughout the day there, which is great. I can see a recap of meetings that I have with a client, when I go over these things that I've recently viewed. And I could do a few things. So I could just start writing straight away. And if I just type, hey, it immediately creates this. I could decide, hey, here is something to discuss. And then I could say, well, I want to link this to maybe a future event, so an upcoming calendar event I've got. Or another way I could do that. Let's say Sam and we have a call later on today. I can click here just immediately to join the Zoom call, but I can create a mem for this thing. And there we go, attendees, and discuss marketing, whatever, and it'd go through those things. Now, by the way, if I wanted to discuss marketing and I wanted to create a page or a hashtag for marketing to make that searchable, then, create marketing. And now I've created that so I can go through and I can see related content when I want to just by rolling over and clicking it. So super easy. Another really, really nice thing about Mem is that you can send content to it by WhatsApp and things like that, which makes it fantastic. So really, really powerful tools. This one is quite nice in that it has these workflows as well set up. So your daily template, how to get texts, how to link your calendars, and how to create templates for working. There are templates in Roam as well. So I didn't want to go too into this thing, and I know I'm going long on this video, but really, really cool ideas that you can use to just get started and to build a more powerful idea trap. We have these augmented intelligence tools. We should be using them.
Roam is crazy as an idea trap. And in fact, how it works, it takes all my concepts and you can prepare a graph of these concepts and it will appear just like that. Now it's great, but there's a steep learning curve. They say it's kind of easy to get started, but then it's like Excel, which is difficult. To go deep, you have to go properly deep. In fact, Roam becomes a hobby on and of itself. There's a new kid on the block though. Now I'm pretty deep in Roam, so much so that I've actually got involved in their investment round and I've become an investor now. And yet still, I'm obsessed with this brand new tool that I've been using for about 2 days now called mem.ai. And this is possibly a better entry point for you if you're starting now. Now, Mem has a much cleaner interface. I'll show you how that one works. It's very, very nice. You can go through and you can actually see it links up to your diary. So here's diaries things, record, lead loud video. That's me. That's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. You can actually see that earlier on, I viewed Elon Musk book recommendations. I viewed this image here. I viewed, different content as I go through it. And you can just kind of go through. So there's the image. Here's a idea trap that I was creating for a video talk that I'm doing coming up. And so it all exists within there that you can go through. It is super easy. The way it works is really, really nice, really, really elegant. I highly recommend it. And I think it's just got all the right little elements in the nice ways. You can still link to concepts. So there I've got linked to things like Zoom and it will create up here any related pages. You've got what's nice, it's got a nice multiplayer mode where I can have people from my company involved. And then you've got these cool things called flows. So I could set up first thing in the morning to pop in maybe a bit of an agenda of things I want to do or my daily routine. I can create templates. So for example, if I wanted to structure a new presentation, and anywhere you are, you just start typing. So if I just start typing here and say use action framework, boom. There's a template for me building a presentation and I just start now typing from here and my content is there. So an amazing tool for both taking notes and creating, but for finding ideas later because it traps your ideas and it helps you curate them for the future version of yourself. Now, I know I've gone longer here than I usually would, but I really think this idea matters. I think we've got to start thinking about how we collect ideas in a better way, dumping them on pieces of paper. And I own a notebook company. Dumping them on pieces of paper, no matter how romantic and hipster a notion it may seem for you. I just prefer paper. I like writing it down. I don't care. I like remembering stuff when I need to. Right? You cannot remember stuff. You by all means write it down, but then digitize it and tag it so that future you can find it. Remember, that's your job now. If you want to be help yourself out, you got to curate the ideas for the future version of yourself. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that effectively is by setting idea traps. So that's the goal for you today. I want you to go out there and start thinking about how can you set idea traps. Consider checking out tools like Roam Research. Notion can kind of work, but I don't think it's as good. Or mem.ai seems to be a big step in the right direction, even though it's in closed beta at the moment. I don't mind how you do it. I just mind that you find a better way of doing it. Feel free to drop any questions down below. Feel free to ask me anything about these various tools. But most importantly, remember, if action followed knowledge, we'd all have six packs, right? Give yourself a six pack, do the work, set the idea traps, and lead loud. Peace.